No, they think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighters beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Oh man, it's fight week, man. We are getting some things out here that's going on in the sport. And I say, man, hey, we're gonna keep getting it while the getting is good. So we been looking at some things and seeing how this thing is unfolding and keeping our fingers crossed that it get across the finish line and that everybody be on their best behavior. I think Teofimo is playing that Joker role, man, causing mayhem in Gotham City. Can Batman and Robin and the Brat Pack, you know what I'm saying, keep it together? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? It's yet to be seen. They got to fight that fight. So we pretty much got to weigh in tomorrow. And some things happened at the press conference that we're going to get into, which is Z Meats and Z Potatoes. What's going on, AC, man? How your day going?
Man, my day going good, bro. Besides a little hiccup in the afternoon, at the end of the day, it's things always wind up balancing themselves out, whereas as long as you never get caught up in the dumb stuff, you'll be all right.
Yeah, and Cookie Monster, salute Cookie Monster. Mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding amazing. Yeah, I appreciate that mic check. Thank you.
Definitely, and salute to Cookie Monster.
We appreciate you. Well, I'm gonna get into the meat and potatoes so we can go ahead and cook on today's festivities and just some general things in boxing. Easy go lucky today, man. I'm just happy that I'm getting ready to get in fan mode. That's why I did this, because I don't know if I'm gonna go tomorrow night. But with all that stuff going on Saturday, and ironically, this is the irony, I'm actually on call this weekend. I was like, what? I said, man, I'm on call. So the last time I was on call, I was still in HVAC, and it was the night when it was the weekend when Teofimo Lopez fought Josh Taylor. So I remember watching on my way home in the truck. So I'm like, what's this whole on call and TO fight night weekends? But it's bigger than that because TO ain't the only one, but it's other cars. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man. So during the day, if something happened, I gotta slide out and go handle whatever, and then, you know what I'm saying, come back. But I'm like, geez. But either way, man, I'm still gonna be down. It just might affect if I'm not sitting there watching. I can't keep score and take my, well, I could take my note, but I can't keep score the way I want to, like record it. But I'm gonna work it out. Like, it's like I worked it out that night. I'm gonna work it out. But that's just interesting. But I'm gonna get into the meat and potatoes. I mean, I'm gonna get into the housekeeping. Man, that Carlos Castro versus Shushu, I ain't know who to put first, you know. I mean, I know Carlos Castro, he done he shared the ring with Fortune. He lost. Shushu, he undefeated. I don't know. I'm not saying it like, I'm not putting it like that, but Either way, that fight won't go the distance. There you have two boxer punchers that they're gonna cause fireworks. They're gonna cause fireworks. I don't think you ain't gotta worry about having no GPS. They gonna go bang it out. And another one that's not gonna go the distance, I almost guarantee you, is that Rohan Polanco and Christian Gomez fight. That fight, I don't believe that fight is going the distance. I don't believe so, man. So, and that's on that Xander Zayas Abbas Baru undercard. Along with you get to see Santillion back again on that undercard as well. So it's just so many, man. It's like at least two fights on every undercard that you want to see. Well, at least one other fight or two fights on the undercard that you absolutely want to see. And I'm starting to look at this, man. I know when you really expected that that somebody gonna get knocked out, man. I don't see many of these going the distance. You know, I when I'm looking at it, I don't see. I mean, of course, everybody worried about the main event. Nobody really can say for sure. You know what I'm saying? Most bettors are saying, yeah, Shakur by decision. So I guess that's an assumption that it's gonna go the distance and he gonna get a UD or whatever. But I'm looking at a lot of these matchups on all of these different cards, and I know this one in particular, except for the one in the very beginning. All of them. Because you got Big Baby, Gerald Miller, the first Big Baby. He gonna fight. He known to get dirty. You got Adamas and Ammo. I think, man, it's a lot of these, man. I don't really. Jermaine Ortiz talking about he don't want it to go to the scorecards. He's like, I can't. Like, he got that mindset. Like, I can't. I've been on that side before. I can't let that happen. So I'm like, man, that could be good and bad. That's like great for the fans. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of these, but I know for sure that Carlos Castro and Shushu, that's not going the distance. Rohan Polanco, Christian Gomez, that's not going the distance. And in that, because Shakur had fought Christian Gomez, and that was a wild fight. And I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, man, because I seen Shakur live on that Boots undercard when he fought Stan Giannis, and I saw him. I was like, man, he's pretty impressive. And that's when he fought the Eliminator. And I got to thinking, I'm like, well, shoot, is he gonna get a fight? And then I started really going through my mental Rolodex, and I was like, hold on. I remember I did that whole ordeal, that timeline on Boots, and I had to go over the Giasov timeline because when he fought Stan Giannis, Giasov was already waiting in the wind to fight Stan Giannis. So he pretty much stepped aside to allow that to happen. He went ahead and fought the Eliminator because he was supposed to get Stan Giannis. So you gotta think, when you think about Stan Giannis, nobody even talk about him no more, but that's who Boots unified with last year. Giasov was waiting in line for Stan Giannis. He didn't get it. Boots inherited that mandatory. That's why I always say with these negotiations and all this and the next fight and all this, so like, how credible was it at 47? And it kind of goes to show, which we had highlighted, that that's probably the reason why they moved up, because they was probably deeming that that's not a money fight, that's this, that's that. But Giasov didn't get that Boots. So when Rolly got that belt, they had Ryan and Rolly fight for that interim or whatever, and then they awarded Rolly, since he upset Ryan, my upset of the year last year. Giasov was then Rolly's mandatory. We hear all these talks about Devin wanting to fight Rolly. I think Rolly was trying to, I don't know what Rolly was trying to do. He had got advised by Charlo once he won to go ahead and fight Devin, but initially, I don't know why or what happened. I don't think Devin really wanted it at that point in time. So now Rolly got Giasov, and I'm like, man, Giasov will fuck around and give Rolly what he wants. And we'll have another one of these situations where we'll have not a Baccarat, but a legitimate guy, but since he's foreign, not be able to get the traction. So that's something to look for, but it's starting to look like nobody. When I say boogeyman, I'm like, when I think about the styles and I think about somebody that's just gonna sit there, be right there in front of you and do all of that, like he got a slight irky jerky style, but he let them hands go. and he can't catch. If he catch you right, it could be over. He got a variety of punches, and I could say he like got a chin, but he can box too. So he's like a boxer puncher, and I'm like, okay, people don't want to get rid of him. I'm like, all the guys I'm saying, man, dang, put the first blemish on their record, do something, like get them out the way. Like, why is nobody? Because most of the time they say, oh, I just fight who they put in front of me, and I fight my mandatories. But this whole pursuit of the big fight is leaving some people out there. But what's going to happen is, just like last year when everything was constipated, they starting to come out with some shit this year, and everybody's having a fight. They even having to get in where they fit in because it's musical chairs. It's only a certain amount of fights, and they're only giving you a certain amount of time. It's like, you know, it's hot. It's on fire right now. They're presenting an opportunity at you, and you better say yeah. And the best negotiations, I have realized, are the ones we don't even hear about. Because there was a whole undercard announced for the Ryan Garcia. I remember a whole bunch of people out here. I won $3 million. No, I only take 7. All we know is the undercard popped out, and we knew that Frank the Ghost Martin was getting ready to fight Nair Albright. We knew that the Andy Hirioka was finally going to get his shot to try to unstrap the boogeyman at 147, one of them, Gary Antoine Russell. Like, all of these different fights on these undercards. We didn't hear a whole bunch of, oh, man, he don't want to fight me, man. Have your manager get with my manager because my office hours is 9. Like, we ain't hear none of that. So when like, keep this in mind, when you hear people coming out there in the public telling you who they want to do, whatever, we didn't know that Frank was open to fight Nair Albright. We know Nair Albright, they ain't say nothing about no Frank. All we know is that fight was announced. We had heard speculation about the Richardson Hitches and the Oscar Duarte, and that was like for a good window because remember the publicity for this Teo and Shakur fight wasn't really up there, and we thought that Richardson Hitches was going to be on this undercard fighting none other than the technician Jermaine Ortiz. But when that didn't happen, right, and it was no Keyshawn because Keyshawn was fighting Jermaine Ortiz, that left Richardson Hitchens without a dance partner. And then we heard the rumblings of Duarte, the card go through, they start announcing the riot and all that. Next thing you know, yep, we getting it. So when people want to fight, man, and like, and they doing good business, like, we don't hear about all of that. So we got to keep that in mind. But I was thinking about Gearsov. Keep your eye on that dude, Gearsov. He can box. I'm not saying that's one of my guys and all that. I'm just saying, man, the dude nice. And if you follow the track record of these guys, where he was like, you know, always what they say, never the bride or the groom or whatever, always the best man. Like, he's always on the outside looking in. And eventually, the WBA gonna have to make something shake. We got to see if that's who Rolly gonna fight. I don't know what the timeline is and what Rolly got going on, but that him, if he got to fight Rolly, if he get his chance at Rolly, he could very much unstrap Rolly. You know, I could see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Rolly, Rolly looked a lot better against Ryan. And you know, Ryan, he neutralized that left hook, but we question what Ryan that was. Not to take away from what Rolly did. No. I always say that Spence and Bud fight gave me a whole new outlook in that if you go ahead and you get in that ring, yes, I am going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to be like some of these, you know, other folks that's not going to acknowledge that something was wrong. But still, you got in there. So you got the bread. You went ahead and fought. We can't let that be because everybody would be like, yeah, something was going on. Dog ate my homework right before the fight. You know what I'm saying? My fish jumped out of the tank and the anaconda bit it in the ass. Like, it'll be all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? The last one. The IBF rehydration clause is becoming a duck strategy, man. Now, I've been watching it, and I've been paying attention, and I grew fond of it when Earl had it. That was the first strap Earl had it. I had got acquainted with it, what was going on. I'm like, okay, cool. That was my first glimpses of it, and that's when I really started looking at, okay, so you got to be in shape, because there was always a talking point that, yeah, it comes with this. It was always a talking point, so people knew not to get in that line. But it's getting ridiculous, especially when people want to unify. They say they want meaningful fights. They want to prove something. They need, you know, good names on their resume. They in the mess hall with their chest out. All of that good stuff. It's like they are choosing not to go through with this IBF. And I know we've been chopping it up about this. And this is starting to be like a real sticking point to where it's like, if you put it off, and you cite rehydration, if you go on to beat the other guy, you're gonna be looking at a Richardson Hitchens situation when him and Liam Poirot both said, nah, we walking away. They both walked away from a Subriel fight and eliminated a fight Subriel. There was never no offer to be made to Richardson Hitchens for Subriel. However, people look at that as like he was ducking. Why? Because he cited the 10-pound rehydration, right? So when he cited the 10-pound rehydration, they were like, yeah, nah, it's Subriel. So walk with me, y'all. Walk with me. So when he cited a 10-pound rehydration and didn't fight, he got the scarlet letter of a duck. He never got an offer. He was up under Eddie's management. What happened was Liam Poirot doubled back, and then he wound up getting it. Then Richardson Hitchens wound up getting it off him. He gets lambasted for it. So here we have a situation where there was a champion at 147 whose first belt, just like Earl's, was the IBF. He got that belt, he fought and all that, whatever, but when Bud went up, that belt, all the belts was released because he got undisputed against Errol Spence. He got that strap. He started defending it. He wound up getting designated him and Stanionis number 1, number 2. And Stanionis came in with the WBA, got his belt the same way. Had to fight eliminated and all that. When he won, everybody thought, okay, he was going for undisputed. And then he decided, hey, man, I'm too big. I might as well go ahead and move up. When he moved up, he didn't use the leverage of the IBF to get the champ. We also have Robert Garcia quoting that Virgil Ortiz would have fought Bakram had it not been for the 10-pound rehydration. So we were looking at how, Boots was moving, and we was questioning, okay, well, who he gonna fight? And they was hard pressed for Virgil, but they were saying Virgil duck, he don't want to fight, blah, 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 this and this. I'm like, okay, well, the clock is ticking, man, and you're dealing with Eddie. So I didn't hold my breath anyway because Oscar was in the equation. I tried to warn everybody. I tried to keep everybody's blood pressure low. I was like, why y'all getting all amped up for something that's going to have to rely on Eddie and Oscar to get something done? You know what I'm saying? You might as well go ahead and get a shovel waiting on that. So we started looking forward, and Eddie came out with some information talking about how he won that purse bid for Bakram, and what really happened was he put Josh Kelly on a 2-fight deal. When he put Josh Kelly on a 2-fight deal, he then comes out in the public and says that he's pulling for Josh Kelly because he thinks he really can win it, and he actually have him under contract for a 2-fight deal, and that he's signed to fight Boots. So we were just like, hold on. What you mean signed to fight Boots? And why y'all pulling for Josh Kelly? Mind you, Josh Kelly got stopped by David Avenesian, got TKO'd in like the 7th, 8th round. A guy that Bud already obliterated and Boots already obliterated. Well, Josh Kelly already got obliterated. Now he came back and did some things, boxed his way up. It could have been a lesson. I'm not sure. All I know is he the first man to say yes to background, so we gotta applaud him for doing that. Olympic pedigree guy, all that good stuff. Bakram hasn't had a fight in 15 months. And then we hear Eddie say, well, we got him signed on the 2-fight deal. Realistically, that'll be the fight that Boots get next. That will solve a lot of problems for us. We were both like, what? Like Smokey and Craig on Friday, like what? That would solve a lot of problems. Break that down. Oh, well, yeah, we already got him under contract and that's the business. And yeah, so if he already signed and, he with us and he want to fight Boots, then yeah, but we like, hold on, man. First of all, y'all pulling for him. He already got stopped. The better pelt on the wall would be Bakram because of what he did to Tim Tszyu. But you be willing to fight Josh Kelly. And then the elephant in the room is either way, there's a 10-pound rehydration. Nobody can answer that. Everybody want to say, oh, you painting this. It's like, no, like it is what it is. So, and I just told y'all when Richardson Hitchens got that strap off of Liam Poirot, who got that strap off of Subriel was considered the bigger boogeyman. Richardson Hitchens don't get no credit for Liam Poirot. So if we keep that and apply the same energy, y'all walking into a landmine. Why is the energy not to fight Bakram if he really ain't no boogeyman? That's the housekeeping, y'all. That IBF, that shit is like a duck strategy, because if you go ahead and fight Josh Kelly, it's like, well, why you wait? Why you go through all that? You could have just went straight for background. Okay, you got your feet wet, and then you could have made that. You could have went straight for background, because that shit didn't happen until after you got your feet wet with Lima. So that's the housekeeping, AC man. I know you got something on all, any of that.
Basically, yeah, I'm in the area where ESL could definitely be a problem for some people. And I'll just leave it right there for him. I'm a little, I like Shushu's energy and stuff like that. But I'm pretty much in the same vein that Shushu gonna put hands and paws on that dude and get him up out of there relatively early. Again, we can talk about this IBF rehydration, and at the end of the day, we could talk about the weight bully situation, and we could say at fighters who fight closer to their weight, the statistics show that, yeah, guess what? You actually are performing better. You have a better chin. Your punch resistance is good. Your power is looking better. So fight closer to your own weight, and win, lose, or draw. It doesn't matter. Trying to shrink down to give yourself the biggest advantages until your body can't take it no more. That says volumes. And how Eddie Hearn came out and made that statement about Boots, Josh Kelly, and Baccarat. As a boxing fan, you cannot look at that situation and say, yeah, that's how you do it. If I was gonna handle Boots, that's how I would do it. Then that means you're effectively telling everybody you have no faith in that man. Because if the if the other dude can come out, who's everyone is automatically writing him off for this fight, what they gonna say if he should get lucky and win facing you? So you're going after belts, taking the easiest route possible, and that's where the argument was made. So why not take the easiest route possible? So if we're talking about legacy for Boots, easiest routes as possible ain't legacy defining fights. The two just can't exist in the same sentence.
Bars.
So that's where I'll just leave it, because I can't get past that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Anything past that, I'm like, I'm on some real just, just shut the fuck up. Because you can't come back and tell me that you have no issue, you're a real boxing fan and you want to see the best fight the best and stuff like that, but you have no issues with Boots sitting on the side to see what happens between Josh Kelly and Baccarat, knowing that if it's Baccarat, he's not going in that direction. If it's Josh Kelly, that answers all of their questions, and not answer all their questions. It fixes all of their problems. So, nah, bro. I'm not gonna go with that. I'm like that Hall and Oates song. I can't go for that. No, no can do. I. You know what I'm saying? For real.
That's funny, man. That's funny, man. I understand the political stance to where you want to pledge your allegiance and show that you got the young black brother in your good graces, which you being on code. But like at some point in time, we all on code because we want them to get paid. But it's like we can't be. It's wild because I noticed that some people, man, they like when you be telling them, oh man, you be spitting that hot fire and all that. But then when you be like, nah, you're not being right exact, they treat you just like these boxers do. Like you never sung their praises, you never defended them, you never stuck up for them, you never made logic in their favor, argued for them, debated over them. You know what I'm saying? Now they interpret that you ain't shit or you starting shit or here you go. They got to click up, do that pack shit. And it's like at some point, man, you're gonna have to face that wolf, man. Like, I mean, you're not gonna get the glory. When you look at the move, when you look, like, it's embarrassing because, like, we gotta state the facts, AC. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that for some people that right now, Devin, he went up and he did what he needed to do right off the rip for the champ. You know what I'm saying? Did what he needed to do. Shakur is doing that as well. When is the second coming of Roy Jones going to do something in the vein of something like that?
Yeah, and I asked a question to this. Boots becoming a champion and Boots fighting Virgil right now. Yeah, that's something everybody would like to see. But then we start to look at a situation that is more likely to become a reality than not. In the fact that, okay, he go ahead and fight Virgil. He beats Virgil. He beats Virgil convincingly. What's to say at that point they feel Boots is such a big star, belts don't matter for him at this point. He can just go ahead and just make big fights with just big names and just bounce around like the way the franchise champion was already supposed to do it. That's the downside I see of it. I'm like, okay, so if they both have a fight, if they both have a belt, it's a unification. I'm 1,000% on board for that because it makes so much sense. And if you would have went up and made the statement and took out the perceived boogeyman right off the bat, you already set that precedence to say, look, Virgil, you fucked around and needed two tune-ups. This your 4th or 5th fight, and you still, you just sitting in an interim spot. You know what I'm saying? Me, I shot up here, and I actually took a belt from one of the recognized champions. In fact, the guy who just did Tim Tszyu dirty. So what up? You better get your weight up. Tell Oscar to get you a championship fight if you're trying to see me. And everybody would have been like, yo, he right. Like, he just went up there and did his thing, and Virgil's still fucking around. I don't know. And that would have been a talking point, but I can honestly say you don't play chess. I was gonna say I was trying to think of a game that's just based on now. Everything is just now. You know what I'm saying? Even in the game of Monopoly, you need some sort of strategy. Mm-hmm. In chess, you need strategy. Whether you playing the slow game or you're playing championship level on the clock stuff. But you still need strategy. I'm just trying to figure out what are your moves since you got up to 54, because we don't see a strategy. We see a guy that's trying to be patient, take easy fights, and try to, become a manufactured product. So
the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking, and when you look at Xander and the boss, they got their straps and then they about to unify. So they cooking with gas. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The fire is lit. They talking shit. You know what I'm saying? They got to get in the ring and prove it. But that's what's going on in and around your division. It's crickets when it come down to Jermell Charlo, and he been chirping. You know what I'm saying? But it's wild because everybody's celebrating Tyson Fury coming back, and it's just like nobody. That's not a good pelt on the wall, and who wants? Like, it's just so many excuses. It's just I don't know, man. It's not lining up.
When I brought up Mel Charlo, I said, you sitting around, the dude sitting around. We don't know what's going on. You're not going to get the Virgil fight, so why don't you just move on? Eddie's telling you about Josh Kelly, but what's wrong with Mel Charlo? What's wrong with Mel Charlo after, setting that fight up now? You go ahead and let's say you beat Mel Charlo. They're going to reinstate that ring belt for Mel Charlo the minute you and him make that fight. That's pretty much in my mind a guarantee. So then you beat him. Now you a 2-division ring champion. Now that's basically the belt you need to move whatever way you want to move, as far as, you know, fucking with any of those other champions at 54. Go straight from there to Fundora or somebody.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, history is going to repeat itself if they but it's not going to be in their favor, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Bud, when he was over there and they was playing that PBC, you know, was playing keep away and won't let him play in any reindeer game. When he was playing that game, he was locked in with Top Rank, and you know, it was said that nobody wanted to mix it up and all that. And I've heard all the backs and forths, been involved in some of the back and forths, been paying and keeping notes. This is different. Yeah. Because Bud could actually say, yeah, they wouldn't let me, but here you go, because you was hearing stuff like Keith Thurman want 10 million and all. They would ride with that or do this and do that, whatever. But like, here you got one of them guys over there at PBC saying, what's up? You called me a cub. What's up? He called you out the night you sparked Lima. And then after the Virgil stuff went sour, he was like, hey, I'm here. I fight either one of y'all. And it's been crooked. But I remember Oscar saying that Virgil had options. So I'm like, okay, well, Virgil got options, then that's okay, that could be an option. That's so when the plan goes where it's like it's looking like Golden Boy and PBC and, you know, Golden Boy and somewhat a Matchroom or whatever, look like they kind of doing, you know, some fights. When the PBC guys come back and they start mixing it all up, don't be saying, oh, they not letting him get in, because it's on record, it's on wax. With Jamel Charlo was saying, what's up? And trying to get a Tim Zoo or somebody at that point, that's just gonna be like, meh, once again. So I don't really want to, you know, that's just the groundwork for it, man. But you know, it's just odd to me that the other point to cinch all of this down, if the checkmate wasn't enough, and you still need to get, you know what I'm saying, jugged, shanked, then Robert Garcia said that Eddie had already had a venue set up for March, which means that y'all was trying to tie Oscar in them hands anyway. And I said, you can't do that with Oscar and not let him have no say or just come to him like, take it or leave it. You're not going to be able to do that. I was calling out way in advance. I said, you can't do that. Yeah. They got a commodity that they protected. And then to come to find out that, yeah, y'all are looking at March. So I don't even know if the turnaround for Josh Kelly, I don't know if it'll be there depending on how much damage he take. You know what I'm saying? We don't know, but like a turnaround in March, I don't even know if that's the next fight. But with the, I'm gonna close it out on this. I'm gonna land right here. The minute Eddie signed a contract with Josh Kelly saying that he's gonna fight Boots next if he win, and followed up with the action of winning the purse bid, and the fight is going on in 2 days. When he did that, when he signed the contract and it had Boots' name on it, and he was saying, yeah, you fighting Boots next if you win, the decision was made. Yep. So it ain't nothing to argue about. This decision was made now, and everybody just now coming around saying, man, Eddie gonna fuck Boots' career up. Listen, when you re-up, because you was a free agent, you went up like just like Richardson Hitchens, he came out and announced it. But when you came up, it was announced. You didn't announce it, but it was announced. And next thing you know, yeah, some time went by and you re-up. So you got in bed, you in bed with him. It's guilty by association at this point, so we can blame it on the matchmakers and all that. But it's crazy how Richardson Hitchens and some of these other guys, they don't get that kind of coverage or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But like that's all I'm saying. Eddie made a decision a while ago when he signed Josh Kelly, and that's the decision that's who he wanted, and that's by action or whatever. Because he said Turkey ain't paying for the fight in that same interview. It's like a 5-minute interview. It ain't even that long. But if you gonna be out here arguing and debating and catching feelings, you know what I'm saying, over some shit that you ain't even researched, shame on you.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. It's like, bro, you coming across really, really wild right now, because at the end of the day, you know what? Find the video, prove me wrong to where it's show me where I completely misread it. You feel what I'm saying? I fed into something that was just not there, and shut me the fuck up, because at the end of the day, I'm a person that does have enough humility to know when I'm wrong. And I'll admit, yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. You feel what I'm saying? And I'll give you your props. So at the end of the day, I'm like, look, you know, we just having a boxing conversation. We're just, you know, chopping it up. I'm introducing something that this man said. The mere fact that he said this and then going back and continuously looking at Boots since Boots signed with Eddie Hearn, looking at the moves and looking at what he says. I said, yeah, I'm the type of fan that follows what the promoter says, but looks at what the fighter actually does. So in that situation, for some reason, going all the way back, and now it makes sense. Go back to that after Boots beat Lima. Why did Eddie Hearn keep talking about Josh Kelly? He was specifically talking about Josh Kelly. He mentioned Josh Kelly at least 3 times. And I was like, why the fuck is he mentioning Josh Kelly? What the fuck that really got to do with anything? And he was like, yeah, he's another big fighter, someone we're trying to develop and get him into a championship fight. And I was like, oh. And now you admit this, and now that. Oh, okay. It followed a fucking bouncing ball, bro. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to do, but yeah, it's really, really hard to do when somebody's cock is in your mouth and you're staring at their belly button because you can't see nothing else around you. So I'm just like, bro, I don't do that. I'm not that type of fan. I won't be the fan to buy knee pads and run to that boxer and be like, can you sign my knee pads for me? You feel what I'm saying? So that's not who I am. That's not the type of boxing fan I want to be. At the end of the day, if you're my favorite fighter, you do something fucked up or whatever, I'm going to speak on it. I'm not going to be the first guy in line trying to make excuses for you. I won't come out with my knee-jerk reaction. I'll wait and see what actually happens. And then after that, I'll make my assessment, because then you can pretty much see things if you've been a person who's been out there like that. So that's where I'll leave it and stuff like that. Boots, I'm just saying, I hope you come out and contradict Eddie and say, you know what, I'm rooting for Bakram to win because I would love to get in the ring with the perceived boogeyman and take his strap. And then I'll immediately unify, so you only have to worry about the rehydration for one fight. Your next fight, you're trying to unify.
And you approve that, because I think when it's an admission when you say I can't do it because of the 10-pound rehydration, that means that you need to be able to. That's just like, okay, if all things are even, that's what pound for pound mean. If I got one arm and you got one arm, if we both blindfolded, like if we both, you know what I'm saying, like if they got to tie up both our shoelaces, like we both, like either way, like it don't matter. I'm pushing your shit back. You know what I'm saying, like. But I got an example just to close it off, because this will be the nail in the coffin. And a lot of these guys can relate to this. When this man right here, Errol Spence Jr., Free Smoke Jr., the big fish, Mr. I'm him, not we them. When he would run around trying to get smoke, nobody would really give him the smoke. Everybody was trying to, make a maneuver or whatever. It was history of him and the great sparring that he did with Floyd and all that. He gave Floyd work, all of that. Everybody knew about this dude. Keith Thurman was running around acting, and that was the beginning of his little blemish, Keith Thurman, by avoiding this man. Guess what he did? He went and got the strap. He went and got that IBF strap. You know what I'm saying? And he relieved Kell Brook of that strap. So let that sink in. So formatively, it became a fact that everybody knew Earl should move up because he should have been moved up. He came in at 54, and then he dropped down to 47. Not too long after he went to 54. He came in at 54 from the Olympics. He was an Olympian, but he went for the IBF with Kell Brook, who unstrapped Sean Porter. It's history. So be a I'm him and not a we them. And because right now Earl can say they not like us. You know what I'm saying? Roy, they could be like, you know, because all these second comings or whoever, until we start seeing it, all them second comings, the first comings, the originals, not the carbon copies, gonna say they not like us. Earl went for that IBF. Well, I ain't hear nothing. I ain't hear none of that shit when Earl had that IBF.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he did it. So it ain't the 10-pound rehydration, man. It's not that. And you're not gonna gaslight us. But that was the nail in the coffin, man. Let me see. Salute to Miss Coleman. Appreciate you. Salute. Yeah. So I mean, that's just keeping it real, and that's not like I'm getting tired of having to say, yeah, I'm really a fan. I'm about to stop qualifying it. You know by this channel who I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of yours, but like we got to keep the same energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's the nail in the coffin on that. But some interesting things came up today, and Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, they had their little press conference, the undercards, all of the fighters, they had all of theirs. It's a lot going on in the card, but if we get at the meat and potatoes and let it flow out, however you know what I'm saying, whatever, however it goes, want to touch the bases on Teo and the mind frame of him going into this fight. And I've been doing a little series, the Why So Serious series. This is the last one because what he said was, and still, Teofimo Lopez's mentality going to this fight is that he's the takeover. He can't allow Shakur to move up and take over his stuff. Now, Wally said some interesting things about the takeover and the origination of it. We'll touch bases on that. But Teo's coming in with that mindset of and still. So him and Shakur was going at it. They was having a little, you know, whatever. He came in and Teo came in with his notepad, taking notes. You know, he had to take on, it was a real wolf pack versus a predator type situation. The Teo didn't even have his pops. Now that could have been strategic, you know what I'm saying? Or it could have been a bug going on or whatever, because once again, Wally had spoke to something about Teo and showed a picture of him and all of this. We'll touch bases on that. But they, Teo said something to Shakur. And Shakur was like, what? Because somebody tried to say that he said something about his mother. He didn't say it or whatever. But Shakur gets up and tried to go over there, and security got to come out and hold him back and all that. I found it interesting because Sergio Mora said he think that Shakur won that press conference, which I don't know, like in the court of public perception, is it a win or a loss? I don't know. I think that's something we look at because it's part of the etiquette of watching the whole, you know, lead up to the fight. And people say a boring press conference is like one of the worst things if they're going to try to promote the fight. But Shakur and them, he also came with a bottle saying that he had a gift, and it was a pint. He had a pint of something, pint of tequila. So I'm like, wow. But Sergio Mora said he liked how Shakur handled himself and that he won. I'm like, well, when they interviewed Shakur, he was saying, well, yeah, I did, you know, do something that I don't normally do. But I'm like, yeah, that's something you don't normally do. You got up and tried to go over there to that man's side, and they asked Teo, you think you got in his head? He was like, yeah, it's gamesmanship. It's mind games. He's like, I think I did what I needed to do. Typical Joker type stuff. And some of the jokes, you know what I'm saying? You know, he always go back to stuff like this. You know, when he be, you know, doing his little thing. But in the last one, I'm saying why so serious, because that was when they had to sit down across from each other. And originally, this is when I really started seeing, back when I did the original ones, when I started seeing Teo in this role. Why? Because I always say this. Batman didn't always get the best of the Joker. Sometimes the Joker fucked Batman up. And y'all know how I feel about Wily Kid and Wily Cat, aka Batman and Robin. You know what I'm saying? Shakur's going up against Batman, and Robin is on the undercard talking stuff to Jermaine Ortiz. But when I look at that press conference, I think that Teo made Shakur do something that he normally don't do, getting up trying to go over there and slap him or do whatever he was going to do. He was going up against Jay Prince. He just like unalive Jay Prince. He said, yeah, I understand pimping Ain't easy. Shout out to Houston. I was like, yikes. Like, T.O. had a comeback, a snappy comeback for everybody. He dismantled them all by himself. Wiley, he took over and had like a half an hour of shit to say. And I was just sitting there watching it all unravel. And I said, God damn it, the Joker has caused mayhem in Gotham City. What you think about it, AC?
Bro, that's exactly what T.O. came in there with the agenda. He's seeing what's going on in social media. He's seeing the couple of little things where he's been in these interviews and noticing how they're questioning him. They're like, I think these people got this shit fucked up. Like, they have already anointed this dude, so I'm not going to feed into any of these, self-proclaimed anointed, narratives and questions I know they're going to ask me. So my impression was he came in there and took it over. He inserted the right amount of chaos that none of them weird ass questions can be asked. So I don't know how Shakur won that. Like, how do you judge what someone won when this other person just disrupted the entire show? You know what I'm saying? Okay. What I heard from Wally, when Wally spoke, okay, he spoke. What I heard from what Jay Prince said, he spoke, but I was still hearing Teofimo Lopez. And then when it came to them two, Teofimo just unleashed it. Boom! It was like throwing a blockbuster on the dance floor in the middle of a packed club. It was just mayhem. These dudes didn't know what to do, didn't know how to handle it. The funniest thing was, I'm just looking, and I'm looking at Shakur's face and demeanor slowly change minute by minute, and I was like, bro, he's completely in your head. Like, you sitting there looking heated, like, why this nigga fucking up the press conference? Yo, we could really be selling the fight by talking our shit, and he's doing all of this crazy stuff, talking all of this crazy stuff about, I hate this dude. You know what I'm saying? And your face is reading that, like you're in your own head thinking of how much you hate this situation. And I was like, yo, this nigga Tio killing it right now. And this is how I think he gonna beat you, because he's gonna come in with things that you just not expecting, that just throw you off, that's constantly gonna make you, here's something I literally had a dream about. I'm sleep. You know, when you wake up and then you go back to sleep for that short little bit of time. So that short little bit of time, I'm laying there, and the last thing I was thinking of was, something while I opened my eyes made me think about Teal when he said that jigama joke. So I went back to sleep. So I'm going back to sleep, and I see Teal doing stuff that's gonna make Shakur stop and put both of his hands out, be like, Rev, what is this guy doing? And the nature of the game is protect yourself at all times. The same way Tank knocked out, what's the name? The same way Floyd Mayweather got his get back when the dude hit him with the low blow, and then he went to go shake his hand, and Floyd Mayweather just chin checked him. That was the dream scenario. Like, he did something like that, and it was bang, bang. Shakur was down. You feel what I'm saying? And then the final part, right before I woke up, I was on a panel beefing with everybody on the panel, because they was like, no, that was cheating, it was this. And I was like, bro, how the fuck can y'all say it's cheating when you're supposed to protect yourself at all times? None of you motherfuckers said it was cheating when Zilly Zang knocked Deontay Wilder out after Wilder got hit in his nose, turned around and pointed somewhere, and Zang just rushed in and was like, Molly Wop. None of you bitch ass niggas said that, so miss me with that shit. And that was the scenario. So, hey, I'm gonna tell you like this: I never had a dream of a sequence that happened in boxing, never in my life. You feel what I'm saying? That could just be a dream. It just could be wishful thinking in my subconscious that manifested itself into a dream or whatever. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I that part of the dream actually, when I woke up, I got out the bed and was heated. Like, I was literally pacing up and down my hallway for a minute, like, all right, what the fuck am I mad at? That dream? And I'm in my mind thinking I was really beefing with someone that I knew, like, yo, I'm just not fucking with this dude no more, because I don't know how you just say that. And then I was like, yo, that's a fucking dream, bro. Get out your own head. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's wild, man. But let me address this. Let me address this right here. I heard Willie saying T.O.'s dad was drunk and high on drugs in the lobby last night. Yeah, I heard that, and that's something that, you know, while he went off on a little speech or whatever. First he jumped Jay Prince when it went to Jay Prince, but he was ready, so he jumped out there. They put him on hold, and then they gave it to him, and he went up there for an hour. He started talking about a lot of stuff about the Olympics and when they lost and how they was really training with us and how T.O. really been jealous of Shakur. It was just like, so T.O. he was going up against Eddie, Jay Prince, Shakur himself, and Wally, and all of the pundits singing all his glowing praises, and it was just T.O. And when I looked at the interview with Wally when he was outside, he showed a picture of Teofimo in the lobby hunched over. And I'm like, you know, I don't know. I mean, they say he got a history and all this. You know, T.O. was saying that his dad had like heart something going on, like some kind of strokes or something. And he was saying that he might be sick, but he was thankful that he didn't bring his father. So yeah, he did. I think that's going a little, I don't know, man. I guess you can do it, but to me, it's like y'all putting out all the stops. If y'all got all the advantages, y'all got the Brat Pack, y'all got Bud in your corner, you got Robin on the undercard and Keyshawn, you got, you know, I'm sure Ray Ford and Richardson Hitchens, they're gonna come tag along at some point. You got Tim Bradley playing gatekeeper, Andre Ward out here saying you one of them ones. You got Clarissa Shields, whenever she opened her mouth, she got your back. It's just, I don't get it. But the second point of that is this right here. Curl got jokes. What about when somebody poured that alcoholic shit on his boy? Hypocrisy at its finest. Love to put other people's BS on blast, not their own. Shaking my head. Bars. That's what I be saying. That's what I was saying when everybody was clowning AB recently and catching him when he was drunk. And then the last time when he was on cam, everybody went ham. They didn't take the high road. They didn't reserve the knee-jerk reaction like AC said. But then when Keyshawn came out talking about he was drinking in camp and he wasn't focused and blah blah this, did his trainer say, oh, well, we don't know? When people got to talking about that, they hated the fact that people even talked about the things that they were talking about or chose to talk about in their interviews. But this is the hypocrisy. I'm glad somebody else said it. I didn't have to say it, but this is the hypocrisy of what be going on. So I think T.O. did a good job, and it might have been great strategy because, you know, if they push the button with Senior, he's a little older. Sometimes people that's a little older, they ID gaff about what comes out. So maybe that was strategic, but it was a solid look where he held his own. He's already in that mindset. He's saying and still, but when we were talking earlier, and you brought up the point that somebody asked him, like, you know, basically the implications of if he were to lose, he basically said, man, my career might be over. I understand that. He said, this is boxing. I understand, like, you know, and he was saying earlier or yesterday, he was saying that he heard Shakur, you know, being nice and saying all these things. But see, that's what I be trying to say. In one interview, it's all whatever. It's all good. And you're like, dang, I like that interview. I like this look. I like this vein. You see another interview and the personality change and it's all derogatory and it's all bad. So from day to day, yesterday he was saying T.O. was whatever. Now and they discrediting his Olympic pedigree and all that. I'm like, make up your mind. You know, we don't know. It's like they flip a coin and decide which narrative they want to roll with. So T.O. was saying, man, don't butter me up. This is fight week. Don't be talking all that nice shit. I got mouths to feed. I got a family. I'm coming to fuck you up. and then he pulled this. So, you know, I think he did a good job at holding it down. Let me see. You see the interview? Yeah. And then Bud came on and said the man trash. Like, yep. Bud came on and said T.O. was trash. I'm like, well, I mean, but y'all saying the winner of this fight gonna be top 5 pound for pound. I'm like, boxing is thirsty for a star.
Mm-hmm. Now, the issue I have now is, you know, but what if that trash dude beat your little bro, and beat your little bro bad? You feel what I'm saying? Here's my thing. Now that somebody put it out there, because I was a little reluctant to say it, because one thought came to my mind. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, and I was like, yeah, that would be a low blow to say that. It's like when y'all went and brought that bottle, y'all had to hide that shit from Keyshawn. You feel what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I don't know how y'all showed up and all of that. And he's sitting on that same stage and y'all had that bottle. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all just did your man dirty when you brought that bottle, bro. I know he was like, yo, how they gonna buy a bottle knowing that I'm just going through my shit? And I was just like, yeah, sometimes you want to do something, but when it really, really comes down to it, your boy said that he got this fight opportunity because you called him and you saved him from his bout of alcoholism. So you know how bad it is. You know how bad it looks. And then you're going to say, all right, this is a professional fighter that's cool with me. This is an older gentleman. You feel what I'm saying? That this dude's pops. So you saying to that dude, you know what? Listen, I don't even give a fuck if your pop die off this shit, but hey, look, here's a bottle of alcohol for your old man, but you know, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about my own boys, about alcoholism and stuff like that he just mentioned. So yeah, that level of hypocrisy is the type of things to whereas it breeds a certain level of being delusional. Yet Teofimo Lopez keeps being considered as delusional, and your grandfather in the interview after that said that my grandson has won everything he's ever been in, everything he's ever went after, he's won. So then at the minute he said that, I was like, well, what about the Olympics? He came in second. He got the silver medal. I don't know if you know, but the silver is not the number one medal. It's the gold. So he didn't win that. He was beaten, you know, by somebody else. He was even beaten in other tournaments. So I'm just asking you, how did he win everything? So he also said they was chasing Tank since he was 17 years old. I was like, God damn, Wally. You just had your Boots moment when Boots was saying, and Bozy was saying, yeah, we've been chasing them guys since 2018. And then when you look at Boots' box rec of where he was actually fighting in 2018, he was fighting in places like the Philadelphia Community Center. I don't know what that Philadelphia Community Center looks like, but I know what most community centers look like. They're usually in the school, and you was probably somewhere in the gymnasium, and they put up a ring. So that whole thing didn't, you know, marinate well with you, where you tried to do this, you know, this grandfathered in call out that you tried to interject. And the same thing Wally just tried to do was grandfather in a call out from 2017. And then on top of that, the most egregious thing that this dude did was interject Abdullah Mason. Yeah, you know, Abdullah Mason, you know, he know what we did to him in sparring. That's why they don't, you know, they don't want no part of us, because all these guys know what we did to them in sparring. And I was like, okay, I believe Abdullah Mason is 21. So if you did any sparring with the dude, he was probably somewhere between 13 and 16 or maybe 17. I'll even give you 18. But from the time you sparred to where he's at now, he's given us the type of fight that your son has never given us. And he chose to fight it like that. Your grandson's closest fight to something like that was with a guy that's nowhere as tough as Sam Nooks. Yes, he's a volume puncher. Yes, he comes forward. Tailor-made for a defensive guy. And he got popped in his face twice. That your great granddaughter was like, he almost knocked you out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Wally, you know, y'all keep trying to interject Zepeda. You know what I'm saying? I'll interject your great granddaughter, what she said in the fight of Zepeda, because she just sees what she sees. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of whether you say, no, she may not understand what a knockout. Well, she know that man hit you hard enough that you was fucked up. Like, I ain't never seen nobody punch my daddy like that before. And that's the bottom line. That's the common sense part of it. That's the part where you can't debate that. You know,
yeah, it's like people will tell you, no, he didn't. I'm like, man, like, be quiet, shut up. Look at this. No, he didn't. Look at this again. Like, you know, he almost knocked you out. You know?
Yeah.
But look, this is something I noticed. And this was odd. Like, I heard it on a show. I heard it up there on the stage. You know, they always say when they bring up Teofimo, they bring up the fact that he faced Loma and he faced Josh Taylor in his efforts. And, you know, Shakur and them stances like, well, yeah, but I'm better than these guys. But when they say that, they talk about how Shakur is the favorite. I think Teo is like a plus 250, which is kind of wild. But I noticed that when they give Shakur the glowing praises, they don't ever say the name. They just say the divisions. But I heard somebody trying to say that they brought up because Shakur in one breath he'll tell you resumes don't matter. So really like on that Bud stuff, because I think Bud kind of started that, but he walked it out and he did what he needed to do. You know, he might be the exception to the rule, but Shakur was saying that resume stuff is blah blah blah. But I'm like, people were citing Jamel Herring and they were citing Oscar Valdez. Well, I'm like the Lomachenko before Devin. It's almost like Devin get more credit for Lomachenko when Teo did it first, and he did it, and his first strap was an IBF belt for Richard Comey, where he sparked him to even get on Loma's radar, because Loma was little boy and Devin and Teo saying that, oh, you know, y'all not in my club. And so when Teo won, he was like, welcome to my club. So that's when he did that under the IBF. Then went on to put hands on Lomachenko. That Lomachenko win, that trumps the Valdez win. The Jamel Herring, a win over Josh Taylor, trumps Jamel Herring. If you want to bring up Zepeda, well, he beat Jermaine Ortiz. It's like when you look at it and at the magnitude and him doing it before Devin, before, like technically when Loma was elevated at franchise, when you look at it, he has actually had the big fights. Teo and them keep saying that, listen, and a lot of people can agree that Shakur has never faced an opponent like this. So they kind of shoot themselves in the foot with that argument, in my opinion, because if you're saying this is his first fight, because I'm saying, like, and realistically, this is what we ask for when we ask about competitive 50-50 fights. Like, to me, the great Roy Jones even said it. Don't take my word. He said it was a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? He said for two different reasons it was a 50-50 fight. So if this is the first time, like I don't understand like how T.O. he don't stand a chance, and it's just like everybody's like at an extreme. I'm like, well, look, he understands that his career is on the line. He understands that big paydays and more success and bigger fights, all of that's on the line. And so he's coming in there and he's shown that every time he has a big fight with a big name or some notoriety, he turned up. We can question whether or not when he don't think nothing of the opponent and what happened, but we know T.O. has proven against Southpaws, you know, that he can do it. So to me, it's a 50-50 fight, and I think the gamesmanship, you know, it's almost over. We just got to see the weigh-ins, and then we get a fight.
Yeah, I think I'm at the point where I'm just like, you do not, Shakur, you do not have to, this close to the fight, it's already here. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much it's already here. So you do not have to try to sell us on how superior you feel you are over Teofimo Lopez. The media in general will never let us forget that, because within the first, you know, 6 words, it's always in the vein of elite, defensive specialist. Like, they got a whole set of verbs that they just constantly are reusing to make it seem like there is a huge difference in skill. And this shit is just going to be a runaway train. And even though Teofimo Lopez is X, Y, and Z, these things are going to happen. And for me, if I had to put a blindfold on and take a common sense dart and hit it at everything that y'all saying, right? In the very center of that board is going to be Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. It's like you get the benefits of Terence Crawford beating Canelo Alvarez, because now they're looking at you in this superior vein that Teofimo Lopez just doesn't have a chance. It was just impossible for Teofimo Lopez to win. You know what I'm saying? They will consider you stopping Teofimo Lopez over Teofimo Lopez having a legitimate chance to win. That's what the odds are saying. When the odds are like that in this type of situation, they're just telling everybody, this guy does not have a chance. This guy could even possibly stop him if he chooses to. So at the end of the day, these are the benefits that Terence Crawford would have gotten going into his next fight. But because he retired and you're supposed to be the next in line, they de facto gave you all of that huge benefit of the doubt, that huge bump in actual talent and things like that, that huge bounce, and they gave you all the talking points. Elite, defensive specialist, no one on the planet can actually touch you. I literally heard one of them Ring Magazine dudes say Shakur Stevenson is on such another level that no one on the planet can stop him, can touch him. And I'm like, okay, so maybe his daughter didn't see the punch that we thought we all saw. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all gonna completely just remove all of that from the human psyche, the rewrite history or whitewash history of how untouchable Shakur Stevenson really is, then by all means go ahead. I mean, the media is making Shakur Icarus, and I'm thinking we may see an amazing Icarus effect, that the media brought you so high. It put you so high that the heat of the sun actually melted those medial wings, and then we have to look at you for what you really are or who you really are. So I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. It could be, man. It could be. It could be. I see it because he did something uncharacteristic. But before we get into some of these other fights, man, in the undercard, I was thinking, taking a page out of what happened with that Brian Norman and how you prepare, because I'm like, T.O. got to be preparing. Now, he said there's two things that Shakur can do. He was, vocal about that the other day. But I'm thinking, okay, he got to be prepared to cut the ring off. If Shakur choose to use that style, his normal style, the style that we pretty much probably going to see when he's dealing with a puncher. Yeah, I'm not saying that like Shakur fights one way, but when he's dealing with somebody that can punch, he fight a totally different way. And I'm going to argue that he fought Zepeda like that because Zepeda, he has a high volume, but he put people in a pressure cooker. So over time, it's not just an explosive. As soon as you light the fuse, boom. It's a slowly round by round, digging to your body, just being rough, punching any and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? The head, the forehead, the arm, the shoulder, the hip, the stomach, the chest, the neck, the arms, the ribs, like everywhere. So that's the kind, but it's not like, because it's that volume. If he was a real knockout artist, then it wouldn't be so much volume. It'll be more like what Tank do. He throw the fewest amount of punches, but he land the most out of those power punches, and he puts you out. Very effective, very efficient. Speed, timing, accuracy. That's Tank. That's not Zepeda. I'm asking this. Is it a world where we come out and see Shakur doing something like what Devin did with Brian, how we thought he was going to be on the move like Jose Ramirez, but he's really sticking and moving, like he's really like right there. You know what I'm saying? Like he's right there. He ain't moving around. He's like right there in front of T.O.
I mean, I guess we could. I'm not gonna not say that's possible. You feel what I'm saying? That could be the game plan. That could be their game plan, and that would be the fight that, would be in the vein of what Shakur told Andre Ward. He wants to fight a really good opponent, someone who's actually legit, so he can just stand there and show people, who he truly is. Because he keeps saying, for Zepeda, I wasn't even 100%. I was just 40%. And I just fought like that because it was Zepeda, which he's admitting that the way he fought Zepeda is they chose that style because of Zepeda's style, which is I've always felt when you have a high volume puncher and you have solid defense, to be on your feet to me makes no sense. You take the fight to them and you beat them to the punch, because if you're high volume, 9 times out of 10 your accuracy is not quite there, because you don't get too many high volume punchers who are actually accurate, and even high volume punchers that are accurate and have power.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's a whole different thing. And just to address 93 Octane comment as well, it's like I don't see it as being more footage when all you had to do was just watch the fights. It wasn't like these things happened in secrecy or they happened behind closed doors or anything like that. All of those fights you mentioned were public fights that you can still go back and literally YouTube and watch the entire fight. So you can have your opinion. You can, it's no problem. Many people think that Shakur is going to win. The entire voting population of not voting, the betting population of Vegas feels Shakur is going to win by a landslide. So, it's up to Tio to prove everybody wrong, because the win is already Shakur's. The odds tell you the win is his. Everything tell you it's his. The way they question him, they're like, yeah, he's assuring to win this. Why would I doubt Shakur's not going to be Teofimo Lopez?
Yeah. I think that at this point, people got their talking points. They go to the racism thing. They go to the, T.O. and his adverse, performances. I heard a dude the other day. He said, man, they love to bring up that damn De Los Santos fight, and we were talking about somebody who just brought up the Kambosos fight. I'm like, a lot of times, if you're a fan of a fighter, it's almost like, especially out here in YouTube, it's like, if you're a fan of them, you tend to adopt their ways a little bit if you too in it, if you're an only fan. Because I'm like, it's always this hypocrisy where they can say and talk and bring up any kind of, illustrations or whatever. It's just like the fuck tank statement. And then come around and say, yeah, when it come down to Clarissa, we are our own worst enemy. It's like, well, you're not saying that to the dude that you calling a racist, and you gave the racist, you signed up a contract for y'all to break bread. Like, so is he racist? Do you want his father to be drunk so you can have an advantage? Like, or are you in the mess hall with your chest out? Are you a predator? It's like your talking point is going to be your talking points.
Yeah.
I just think that you can, at the end of the day, it's going to bottleneck to where they got to get in that ring. And I'm looking at, like, stylistically, I'm trying to narrow it down to what we're going to see stylistically. I've known that, like, Abdullah have got dropped and got up and stopped somebody. And then some fighters are like that. They might get knocked. Tito Trinidad was like that. It's almost like the fight don't get started until he get knocked down. Some fighters, like, I know Tank, he, weird enough, he actually kind of like to get hit. Sometimes he need to get hit before he be like, all right, I'm going to fuck you up now. Like, some fighters are like that. Some fighters was learning on the job. Abdullah was learning on the job. T.O., you know what I'm saying? It's a history. If you was following along during that time, it was many things going on and people have spoken on it. So the fight is here. I'm looking at the styles. I'm questioning the hands. Nobody's asking no questions about that. Nobody's asking him, is he still on snack? You know what I'm saying? None of that. But we can talk about see if Shakur is the caliber of fighter they tout him to be. Do you think he would struggle with the likes of Claggett? Or see like I just stated my answer to that at 93. Shakur has two different styles. He fights one way when he's dealing with somebody who can't punch, a la Williams Zepeda. That was different, right? He just came up, got on that Philly shell, got on the ropes, and just pretty much stood there and let Zepeda punch himself out. It almost cost him, but that's that style. But then when you got a puncher like Nakatiya, like Artem Haratunian, when his grandpops kept saying, let's get him out of there. You seen what they did to Oshaki. But when he fought Nakatiya, he didn't fight him the same. He's like, man, that dude can punch. He said, Artem, man, that dude hit hard. Frank Martin had dropped him and all that. Like, so he got a different style. Like, if you in there and you got some thump, he fight different. Yeah, that's me observing Shakur, and actually, like, because I'm a Shakur fan. I'm just not an only fan. But I know how Shakur fight. I've been watching.
I say this. When you look at a lot of things concerning Teofimo Lopez, and then you ask the question, does this guy lose to these guys? That's effectively the triangle theory. Sometimes I buy into it, sometimes I don't buy into it. You know what I'm saying? When George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, I was very impressed with George Kambosos in performance, because he used twitchy movements. He used the fact that Teo was pressing way too hard, was also front heavy. And George Kambosos is one of the, prior to that, at his highest point, he was considered one of like the top maybe 15 guys who were solid counterpunchers. Like, you fuck around and come in wrong on George Kambosos, he's gonna put you down because he was that sharp of a counterpuncher. Everybody want to take everything from George Kambosos because of I don't know what. I have no problem with George Kambosos being the fighter who he was. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he will still go down in history, whether y'all want to give him the credit or not. He will still go down in history as a lineal champion because he beat the man who beat the man. So take that with a grain of salt. So at the end of the day, I don't take nothing away from George Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? He still won all of those belts. If there's an argument to say technically the franchise belt was the higher elevated belt to the WBC, George Kambosos was undisputed and lineal champion. And he did it in a fight. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what got Devin his praise. So if in one vein you want to take that, put such a loss on Teofimo Lopez, but in the second vein, give Devin Haney so much praise for beating George Kambosos, I don't know how that type of shit works. And I'm a Devin Haney fan. And the reason why I gave him props because I was like, George Kambosos is a solid guy. He's a solid B-level fighter. He's not an A-level fighter. He's not, you can maybe make the argument B+ to A-. You feel what I'm saying? But on that night, he was just better because of the other guy's performance. And sometimes I've seen people like Muhammad Ali get dropped by absolute bums, straight up actors, and then get up and win a fight. You feel what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali lost. It still goes back to the argument I asked you at 93 Octane, if you're a Marvin Hagler fan. And if you are, go back and look at the name and then look at the career of the first guy he lost to. And you tell me which is worse, losing to George Kambosos or losing to that guy that Marvin Hagler, the fucking legend, lost to. You know what I'm saying? You got to put certain things in perspective with real boxing fans.
I mean, we've seen it though. I mean, I think it's like I said, if you favor somebody, you just favor them, and you're gonna stick to your guns until you see the fight. Because we got a lot of examples of this, like with Rolly beating Ryan.
Yeah.
Like if you go in there and you see what he did to Devin, and you see him fight Rolly, nobody in their mother, like, they come around. It's a couple more people saying, yeah, man, Rolly, I saw Rolly, and yeah, I was telling everybody, but nobody saw that shit. But do that mean, like, what do that mean? Like, because the triangle theory, I'm going to tell you, people pick and choose that triangle theory. If you call it a triangle theory, people are going to automatically dismiss it. But guess what? The same thing with better verbiage is common opponent.
Yeah.
So people perform different with common opponents. And there's different variables, because if you look at it, it was a close fight. They would say it was a close fight with O'Shaquie and Conceição, even though the first time it was a Teflon Don clinic. The second time, O'Shaquie made sure, you know what I'm saying, he spanked him. When Shakur fought Conceição, he blew weight, beat the shit out of him. You know, so what do we deduct from that?
Yeah. And that's why, you know what I'm saying. You right on that. 93 fighters should be able to learn from their losses. This is why, to a certain degree, when I look at a champion and then loses his belt, how you lose your belt, how you respond after you lost your belt, lets me know whether you have the true nature of a champion. Brian Norman lost his belt and he was extremely graceful about it. You know what I'm saying? Andy Cruz just got a shot at his belt, got a shot at a belt, and he was extremely, gracious about his loss and said that this one loss doesn't define me. Mortaya was grateful in his victory. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, some fighters losses only make them greater, because now that monkey is off your back, now that monkey is off your back, that's not something you need to worry about no more. I've lost. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to go home, think about it, you know, basically obsess about it for like 3 days to a week, and then accept the loss, get past it, and get back in the gym. So some fighters could do shit like that. Other fighters, you know, that's yet to be seen. Like, what would happen if Shakur loses? What would happen if Devin Haney loses? What would happen if Boots loses? You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the nature of a champion is, you know, is how you come back, in my opinion. How you get back up, how you handle your defeats. Do you handle your defeats in the same grace or in the same vein that you handle your wins? Then, bro, you are on the road to becoming the people's champ. So for me, I dig Teofimo Lopez. You know, like I said originally, I didn't want to have a pick 'em in this fight, but when I saw the narrative being so heavy on one side, I said, you know what, I'm going to rock with this guy just to try to have that even talking point, and I'm going to play devil's advocate to bigging up Teofimo Lopez, because he deserves respect, because he is the true champion. He did it before. He beat the man who beat the man, and then, you know, lost his belts to Cambosis, and then went up and then beat the man who beat the man. So you got to give that dude a level of respect, and a level of saying, yeah, you brought that to the table. This is why this fight is what it is. If he was trash and he was so easy, then seriously, how is this fight as big as it is? Is it that big because it's supposed to be a coronation for Shakur, or is it that big because of the level of competition? And that's where you got to look at the fan bases and see how they're feeding into everything. Because the media is just looking at it as it's a correlation. The fight itself is just some preliminary shit, just like a preacher standing up there and reading you know, 2 hours worth of passages from the Bible and shit like that. That's the way they're looking at the fight. So yeah, I don't know.
So let me address already home. Black people don't mess with T.O. for the reason they shouldn't. WTF. And this is my thing. But we're not saying black people shouldn't feel any kind of way. If you want to feel like that and you want to get caught up in it, I just understand that when I was on it and I was saying there's no place for those kind of things in boxing, that's not the best way to promote. Everybody would say, oh man, look at you being serious. It's like, no, I'm being thorough, because we don't need it. You don't gotta, you know, and they told me to back down. You can't sit up there and say back down and get everybody, oh man, it's not even that. He's not like that. Gary Antoine Russell said he's not like that. And they friends, they cool. He's like, nah, I'm gonna talk to him or whatever. So knowing that that's not how T.O. is, I think his father is, I think some of that rub off on him. We're not telling you it involving anybody. You know what I'm saying? Especially being black, that you can't feel however way you want to feel. Feel how you want to feel. But we got to be rational about the outcome. I think that was her point. Like, people are using their emotions or whatever, and how they feel about things that he said, even though they buried the hatchet. I don't know why he get a contract. Why you sign a contract to fight him so y'all can get a bag if you really felt like that. That's that fake ass outrage I be talking about. Yeah. But at the same time, you can feel like that. But that you can't feel like that, because I could think that, you know what I'm saying, somebody beside me is, you know, got an old Confederate up or something, and that they like a piece of shit. I could think that. That don't mean they can't take a pipe and bust me in my goddamn head. So what it really means is that, yeah, you can feel how you want about T.O., but he do got a certain set of skills, and he has a track record of being able to show up and show out, and he did it before some of them other guys, and he has a skill set. Like, that's why this fight is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be real about bump the emotions and who you want. You could want him to lose. Would that happen? You know, because if I set up a match, and I'm gonna drop it right here, but if I promoted a fight and I put together a card, And I made sure that everybody that I hated was on the right and everybody that I fucked with was on the left. That don't mean that all the motherfuckers gonna win. Because I gotta do an assessment of the skill set. So that's all it is. So we don't get into all of that, because when it comes down to people doing the colorism and then people arbitrarily choosing when they want to do the alcoholism, and when people arbitrarily choose when they want to use mental health, you can just pull out your race card, you can just pull out your mental health card, you know what I'm saying? You can pull out your colorism card. Like, we'll be doing that shit all night. We don't get into that.
Yeah.
Feel how you want to feel. But T.O. do got a set of skills. Is all I'm saying. They acting like he just gonna go in there and just mollywop the shit out of it. It's like, when the last time with the hands and moving up and being on snack are you talking about? Like, it's so many different factors. Not just some things that T.O. said that he shouldn't have said.
Yeah, and I would say this. If we're gonna adopt that ideology, should have white people felt that way about Devin Haney, Bernard Hopkins, and some of the other fighters who made their racial statement. It just becomes a slippery slope, especially when you go down that road. You know what I'm saying? If we saw McCumbee come in there, you know, when he was getting ready to fight Caleb Plant, he had the aviator sunglasses. The first time we're seeing him on the big stage like that. He's got the motorcycle handlebar, weird mustache. You know what I'm saying? Got just pure rednecking it out. Got his Make America Great, make America Great hat on and stuff like that.
Trevor McCumbee.
Yeah, Trevor McCumbee. So my whole thing was, in that moment, even though he was fighting a white guy, at the end of the day, if we're going to have this outrage of people being racist, there was a clear display of support for a racist when Trevor McCumbee did what he did. But nobody said shit. So I'm the type of person that I've watched a lot of things, and I may take that thing that I saw, put it in a little envelope, and have it, you know, put it in the database. So when I needed to make my arguments, I'm going to show emphatically, situation by situation by situation, where the energy is just not the same for racism. It's only that way when it seems to be someone saying something directly about someone that's black or in that type of situation. And if we're gonna, you know, be strong proponents for racism, that shit just can't go no matter who it comes from. Period.
Yeah, okay, cool. Cool already home. Yeah, that's how we get down over here. So, but good point, good topic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You forced us to put something out there and explain ourselves. We appreciate you already home. And we got you, Miss Coleman. What's up, D Calico? What's going on?
Yo, peace. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Salute, man. How you feel? What's on your mind?
Oh man, you know, shit. Look like we got some action. You know what I'm saying? Like they stirring the pot. I'm talking about even Wally getting mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, man. I think it's kind of setting Shakur up the same way Haney did with Ryan. Like, it's creating that atmosphere that anything less than you stepping to him is gonna be looked at as bitch made or cowardly,
That is
or just lackluster.
That is crazy that you came up. Like, that is, to me, that's a whole dynamic that just is like,
Yeah, being overlooked.
wow, man, I think that might be overlooked because, like I was saying, the thing that had me dying about it was Shakur just sitting there in his own head looking like he was steaming.
Yes.
Have a press conference so we could just talk our shit and build the fight. And this dude is talking about jiggle my ball, his dick.
That's why I asked you that question. I said, because I'm reasoning that he might come out and try to do that shit. What he do with that? What Dev did? What he right there? Like while he preparing to chase him around, he gonna. That's why I asked AC earlier. Do you think Shakur would do that? Because I'm like the pressure is like you go in there and you do all that running around, man. You gonna get booed up out of the garden, bro. You ain't gonna be able to do that shit up there in New York, man.
Yeah, now with this kind of atmosphere, getting set.
Yeah, now it's set. Like, yeah, you want to put hands, and they try to fabricate some shit up there. I'm like, when did somebody say? I'm like, they tried to pull something out their ass. I'm like, Tio ain't say nothing like that. Like, but yeah, he ain't. I think he in Shakur head, man. That's what I saw. He and Moses, Wally head. They want to fuck him. Like, so if he going there in his emotions, man, that play right into a nice power punching, counter puncher, boxer puncher's hands, man.
Now, how about this scenario? Shit get a little thick. Bringing that level of emotion and wanting or whatever. The minute shit get thick, I'm kind of thinking of when they was beefing with the Artem fight. You feel what I'm saying? And combine that with the type of frustration and not really, because of the level of frustration, you completely abandon giving actual instruction. So it's like, come on, man, you got to get your head into it. You got to go out there and get
beat his ass, beat his ass.
You got to beat this motherfucker ass, blah, 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 blah. We not going home because this, and that. And those level of instructions, you thinking you're inspiring him, and Shakur's just like, okay, so now I got to go out here and try to figure this out. And then he may, try to hear what Bud and whoever else is screaming at him. You feel what I'm saying? So that could cause a whole level of chaos.
Yep.
It works right. And that check that he wrote, don't bounce, bro. We may be looking at something that's like wow, just on a wow level. Like for me, I told Body earlier, and I'll say it to you, and then I'll ask you your. Me personally, when I saw the interview the day before when they both was just sitting in the chair, the one-on-one, just sitting in the chair type of interviews, and Theo came out and the dude asked him that question. He was like, look, I don't care about all of that. This fight week we here. Don't try to butter me up. Don't try to send me no whatever. Just that alone, and then at the end, he ends it off with a powerful statement and saying, I can't lose. My career is on the line. I can't talk about
my kids.
Yep. I can't talk about the details of it, but I can't afford to lose this fight. So what's your take on those two statements? Because those are like, out of that interview, those are like the two most powerful statements. What's your take?
Yeah, I feel like people gonna definitely go back to that, just like with Haney and Brian Norman, when he was like, oh man, you ain't got nothing in them gloves, man, you can't hurt nobody, nigga. You know what I'm saying? He was like, Haney was like, hey, y'all remember this? Hey, go back to this point right here in the interview, because really it triggered something in him. You feel me?
Yeah.
So the same thing going for Tio. It's like, man, bro, we was cool, but man, this for bread and meat, man. If I don't win, I don't eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's when it's a whole nother, story going on. It's like saying, come on, man. If I done made a bet and put my whole life, my whole family on the line, guess what that mean? That mean I ain't taking no losses. I will cheat. I will do whatever in the world. I'm not losing, even if I got to run off on the plug. I'm not paying. I'm not paying this money. It ain't happening. No way in the hell. And that's how Tio seems like that. And that's a desperate man. But desperate times.
Yeah.
Call for desperate measures.
Yeah, that shit is funny. You like, even if I got to run off on the plug.
I got to run up on the plug. I ain't paying, bro. You feel me? I can't lose.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
I gotta come home with the spoils.
Yes, sir.
But look, Shakur said something interesting to me, and I'm like, man, that's why I like doing the things the way we do it, man. Because he said we got a game plan, and that's what we're going to do. And I'm actually going to listen this time. So I'm like, when we was cooking, saying, listen, he was arguing with Wiley. It's like, man, and then he was arguing with Bud. I mean, yeah, Bud and Ward when they were telling him, like, nah, man, you know, they were saying, man, you stop using your jab. He was like, nah. He was like, man, I was gonna stop. He's like, man, you would have stopped them if you would have been using your jab. And they caught that snippet with Andre Ward and Bud talking to him.
Yeah.
So it's like they saying they got a game plan. T.O. said it's either two things he can do. So, you know, we're gonna see, man. I had a premonition that Shakur was gonna come out there and try to do what Devin did with Brian Norman, where he ain't gonna really move around. He gonna be right front and center. Not, you know, it's Shakur's style, but like not that same stance. But like he ain't, I don't think, you know, that's what I got. That's what I'm picking up on. I'm thinking that's what he might try to do.
I'm gonna be honest. Like when people, if people just, you know, really look at Shakur's fights, it's really true what they say. Like barring the De Los Santos fight, he's never fought like that. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is this: when I saw Tio make both of those statements, and then looked at his face and read his demeanor and everything, that type of thing sold me the same way Mortaya sold me when he said, "I don't care where Andy come from. I don't care about none of that. I just know it's not his time. He's not gonna win this fight." Tio was on that same type of Mortaya time for me. And I'm just like, Mortaya beat the odds in beating Andy Cruz. And mostly everybody was writing Mortaya off like, nah, the gold medalist, the guy who did this with Keyshawn, blah, blah, blah. He's going to have too many tricks, the footwork, yada, 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 all of this other stuff. So at the end of the day, his will to win, he went deep in his bag and pulled out certain things and said, listen, I'm going to follow my game plan. Let him do his thing, and then I'm going to steal everything. I'm going to steal that thunder away from him, round after round after round, or do my best to steal that thunder. So, for me, I just feel Tio is on that type of time, and that's why I'm leaning towards Tio. I got Tio actually doing something, winning the fight and doing something amazing.
Yeah. But what else? Did y'all see anything else on the undercard like that kind of sparked your attention? You got Shushu and Castro. I said that's not gonna go the distance. I
was gonna say I like the energy between Ammo and Adames. I was like, whoa, Ammo was in a different place. At least that's how he was coming across. You know what I'm saying? I actually want to see the fight right now because, I like Ammo's demeanor in that interview. He was calm. He was surreal. He was like, "Yeah, I'm here now. I'm just ready to get it in." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if he was wearing layered clothes, but when the weigh-ins come, if he on weight, that dude is muscular as a motherfucker.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that one. Like that's how I found out about Hamza Shiraz, because Hamza Shiraz put it on him,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never saw that coming, because I know Ammo Williams is a monster. As far as punching, he's a great puncher. And he represents the culture too, so I'll definitely be pulling for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he can. I don't know. Adames is great, and it seemed like Turkey done put a hitman on Adames. Like he must really got faith in Amos to try to even up. Like basically, because if Ammo Williams, if he wins, that almost rights the ship for Hamza Shiraz, because Hamza Shiraz really lost to Adames.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if the guy that he beat can beat Adames, it turns that draw into a legitimate one, to the point that really Shiraz won. Because the tiebreaker would be, Ammo Williams.
I could definitely see that those talking points actually growing legs and being able to walk in the community, stuff like that, because it's kind of a applied triangle theory that lends the fact of saying this after Hamza lost to Adames, and that was a clear loss. It wasn't a draw. After he lost to Adames, he then goes up and he knocks out Berlanga. So you can tell that there was something off with Hamza. You feel what I'm saying? So now you could see some of those maybe Hamza only fans coming out and using that as an argument or whatever, because it might be already baked in the cake. So at the end of the day, I'm excited about this fight. I'm actually excited. I'm like, maybe Adames, maybe Ammo may have a chance. Because if that's just a layered close, okay, that's one thing. But if you that fucking big up under that and you on weight, I'm like, I don't know. I gotta see how that shit look and perform in the ring. Because if you come in there like a Hulk nigga and you smack that nigga the fuck to sleep, that shit gonna look crazy.
I believe. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be good. But I'm looking at Adames a little bit different. He grew on me a little bit. Yeah, I didn't never seen him use that kind of upper body movement. That right there is like, if he bring that upper body movement, that was like prime Canelo-esque. I've never seen him really be able to move like that. It was rumors that something was going on with Hamza's hand. And it kind of looked like it because that very next fight, it looked like ain't nothing was wrong with his hand because he was throwing that motherfucker. Because I kept wondering why he ain't throwing this. He got like a good hook uppercut comment. Like that uppercut is lethal by Hamza. And he long, but he got caught. He got caught by Ammo. I just think that if you're a little more technical, Ammo have a problem with technical, but I don't think Adames is really technical. I just think that now he got this upper body movement, but Ammo, he got some power. If he line you up and he hit you, you going down. You know what I'm saying? If he catch you clean, you going down. Plus, he got Coach Kevin Cunningham in his corner, and that's one of my favorite coaches, man. I think that when it come down to getting the talent, I'm like, I don't know why. I think he might be too much of a disciplinarian or something, but it's like he can't get his guy. Like, even when these guys be looking for new trainers, nobody ever say, I'm going to go check out Coach Kevin Cunningham. He's a disciplinarian. I think he was a former cop. But he got him in the corner, which makes me feel a little bit better. Because I don't think he coached all of his fights. I'm not sure if it was a break in there. So that's a good fight. What do y'all think about Jermaine Ortiz and Keyshawn?
I'll just say again, I'm expecting chaos. That's for some reason I'm just expecting a crash out or a chaotic scene. You know, I like Jermaine Ortiz energy. I'd like Keyshawn's energy. But I'm questioning certain things because you're just on a tirade lately saying you're gonna knock out Devin, you're gonna knock out this guy, I can knock out Tank. You feel what I'm saying? You know, so the problem is you have to deal with the guy in front of you, and you're promising us you're gonna knock him out. If you go ahead and knock him out, yo, that's something amazing. You know what I'm saying? Where you are, your level of anxiousness, you seem like you're just a little bit too dialed up. Like, you're not giving yourself the time to wind down and stuff like that. That constant tension is the type of thing that will slowly wear you down once it comes time to perform. You know, because you were so tense, you were so hyped to get it in, stuff like that. It happens, you know, when you get a new job at times, and the job that you really, really wanted or whatever. You know, nights leading up, you can't really sleep, and then you fuck around and you crash out the day before, and you're wondering why the day of the fight, the day of the job, you're like, why the fuck am I so tired? Because you helped all of that tension, and you never gave the body a chance to relax. So that's my biggest concern, and I think that might be the thing that leads to the crash out, because in his mind he's like, I know my body is better than this, but I don't know why I'm not responding properly. That's number one, is because the guy in front of you is highly skilled, and number two, you know, where you've been and what you've been doing outside the ring and your mindset, all of that stuff is going to culminate into this moment. Right now, you just seem a little bit too dialed up. You need to bring that shit down to like a good 3.5. Let that shit simmer. You know, you're at a rough boil, bro, and you gotta let that shit simmer, man. Skim off some of that bad fat. But that's where I landed.
Word, what you think, Calico? Cause Jermaine Ortiz say he ain't gonna he said he can't afford to let it go to the judges. So he realizing that, you know, these shots don't come around like that. But I am Broly say, honestly, we need Teofimo Lopez to win. If Shakur wins this by running, boxing is done for. Yeah, I mean, you know, I be saying precedents, because remember the last couple weeks we've been saying that they've been awarding aggression, even if it's not effective aggression at times. And that's been a leading factor in the fight, especially when you're looking at the sweet science. Well, Shakur get in there, but see, it's different, because look, I'm gonna tell y'all something else. When Shakur fought Artem Haratunian, salute Thomas Hill. I appreciate you, man. Salute. But when Shakur fought Artem Haratunian, when Wally kept saying, man, come on, stop this dude, man. We gotta stop this dude. Do what you gotta do, man. He kept saying, I'm gonna stop this dude. 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, 8th round. I'm gonna stop this dude. I'm gonna stop this dude. Every time he came out. That didn't happen. When they was talking to Shakur, he said, yeah, but you see when he started running? I'm like, so when people are evading you, they're running. But your style that you choose to use when you're dealing with a puncher, or when you just want to win, baby, win, like just outpoint and fence, you're not running. That's why I say precedence. So with them having like, because like this is what happens when you try to manufacture a star, and Shakur does have some potential. He gotta work on a couple things. He gotta develop into that. But when you're pushing a guy and you're pigeonholing a guy up into that number one spot, that face of boxing, that star, or whatever, you gotta be able to sell him. This has been an example where they can't sell them. Why? Because people are trying to use the race card. People are selling them off the back of Bud. People selling them, you know what I'm saying, because of Ward and Bradley advocating for them. You know, people selling them because it was Olympic, whatever. It's like stars don't need to be sold. People want to see them. So they showing up and showing out. But the talking points around it, because you hear it, he just boxed so beautiful. They act like the man. I'm like, I've never seen a boxing match where people don't get hit, but I guess every time Shakur went in there, he never got hit. I don't recall, because De Los Santos, people don't credit him for that body work, which I think it has to be key for Tio. That's what's gonna let me know in the first 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? If he come out doing that Raymond Mortalia, that stab jab to the body, oh yeah. But he gonna have to go to that body. But like they sell him like he don't get hit. And so, I seen this somewhere, and I'm gonna land right here. Somebody said it's wild because the sweet science don't ever get rewarded when everybody else is using it, but it get rewarded when it comes down to Shakur Stevenson fighting. And I was like, wow, that's bars. They reward the Sweet Science when he's evading, eluding, but the culture is they've been awarding the aggressor, but they flip it when it comes to Shakur fights, and we've seen that. The example is when O'Shaquie Foster was the Teflon Don up against Conceição, and later that night when Shakur fought that same kind of style but with Arthur Haruntunyan, he got the dub. The business of boxing pickpocketed O'Shaquie. He had to go back and get it in blood, and he did. So it's evidence out there.
Yeah. Like my issue when it comes down to that conversation of Sweet Science and looking at Shakur stylistically, and then, you know, Shakur constantly making a statement, and this is the issue I have with Shakur. You keep saying that people don't appreciate you. You keep bringing up the boring context. You're actually feeding into that, because those of us who do watch you, we're like, you know how to slow down the pace to where it fits you. That's called ring generalship. When you control the pace, you control where the fight is. And those fights, when you choose to slow it down, that's what we call it. We see other fighters, you feel what I'm saying, going into the Williams Zepeda fight, they said one of the keys to Shakur's victory is to slow the fight down. We've heard people say that about Mayweather. We heard it said about Sugar Ray Leonard when they had these high volume come forward fighters. It's like they have to use their boxing skill to slow the pace down. If you slow the pace down, guess what? It falls into the category of someone, you know, who's just hating on the Sweet Science, saying, oh, that fight was boring. And then now you fed into it so much that you didn't have to. You could have just used history and just kind of like broke it down the way I said it, because you're supposed to be the historian of boxing, the dude who appreciates it, but you don't use those attributes to break down what you're trying to say. You attack the fans instead of using historical fighters who've been able to slow the pace down and still be entertaining and everyone wanting to see them. You feel what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali when he said, I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and then when he would get on what we called, and I'm using air quotes, fighters back then with what we call getting on the bicycle, they would call today that's running. So if you're the historian and you're the boxing guy and guru that you're supposed to be, it should be very, very easy for you, for people like you, Bud, Ward, you know what I'm saying, even Clarissa Shields, to pull from history and say, no, I'm not boring. I just know how to control the tempo, which is ring generalship. I can slow the fight up or speed it up. It doesn't matter. If I want to slow the fight down to get you out of your high pace, then that's what I'm going to do to win. The fuck? You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, and I would say some stupid shit at the end. Like, me explaining what I do in the ring is like two porn stars or a porn star trying to explain what they're doing on the screen as far as being a porn star. If you have to explain it, you're not doing something right. It's just that simple for me. So I'm just like, look, man, the Sweet Science is the Sweet Science. A perfect display of the Sweet Science is not, I rarely could think of a fight with Shakur, but I can say a good fight of the Sweet Science that I know I saw was, in my book, who gets the #1 spot, O'Shaquie Foster versus Stephen Fulton. Masterful Sweet Science. Who gets the second shot? Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. The Sweet Science. And both of them made it look entertaining. They slowed down the pace when they needed to, but still kept it at a pace to whereas, you know, you never got lulled into a sense of when is somebody going to throw a punch. The Sweet Science doesn't, you know, the Sweet Science doesn't mean I'm just completely using footwork and I'm putting out an output of 10 punches around. You can put out high volume punches and still display the sweet science. The sweet science is also looking at a guy who masters timing to the point where he's walking around with a high knockout rate and a ratio of, take the total numbers of people that he fought and look at the number of people who actually slipped from getting knocked out. If it's 2% or less, that's the sweet science to me, because you can read timing and you're a master of timing, and part of the sweet science is timing. To be able to knock motherfuckers out, that is a science. So that's just the way I see it. And you could try to tell me Shakur is a perfect example of the sweet science, but I'll also be able to make the argument that Tank is an example of the sweet science because it actually paid off for him. Shakur is just trying to get there. Tank been the guy. He's been the person they've been calling the face of boxing. People don't know boxing, but that little short dude from Baltimore that be knocking everybody the fuck out. Yeah, I like him. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to know his name. I just know what he do, and he got that shit down to a science, and that's what we call it. When you knock that many motherfuckers out and you that consistent, they like, yeah, he got that shit down to a science. You ain't getting away from him, and if you get away, you lucky.
Yeah, when you see him, when you see the sweet science demonstrated, it's like it don't even make you think to how to explain it. Like you see that shit, like the performance lends itself to the outcome, right?
Yeah.
And then you go back and be like, damn, well, how did he set that up? And then you be like, oh, okay. But you don't gotta be like, I've heard like one fighter lose and yeah, that's because they don't know what they're looking at. Because actually, I was doing this, and I'm like, man, come on, people don't want to hear all that explaining. Man. Sweet science is proof in the pudding.
They don't know what I was doing. Like, the fuck do you mean people don't know what you was doing? We don't know what you was doing because you was the one thinking about it. You wasn't announcing it. We just saw what we saw. And if we saw what we saw, it's not a matter of people didn't know what I was doing. That's like me having an open kitchen and having a counter to where you can see everything I'm cooking. And then you say, no, that looks that one right there is burnt. The stick is burnt. I'm trying to blow it out and I just look at it and say, oh, you don't know what you're looking at. It ain't burnt. And you like, I could smell it's burnt. I could see it's black. And that shit was just on fire. You don't got to tell me you just burnt that shit. You could be a master at doing this all day long, but that shit was burnt. That's what we call sometimes making rookie mistakes.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, but master, I hate the motherfucking most. Motherfuckers who think they're the master the art of talking. You know what I'm saying? Like they can just tell us anything and they can, they're gonna make it make sense. Because they, like they just full of it, man. I'm talking about it don't make no damn sense, man. Like people think we don't have logic. So that's what common sense really is, Yeah. When people are dealing with logic, like they think we not working with none, bro. Like you know how the old saying is, like motherfucker peeing on your head and they gonna tell you it's raining. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, man. That's what it's just boiling down to. Like people are lucky that God is such a fair person, right? Because nobody's perfect, right? And you'll have a guy like Tank Davis who can knock anybody out. God had to make it where he don't got the longest arms. He don't have all the height. You know what I'm saying? Like God really got there and took it easy on everybody. Because would none of us want to see a heavyweight Tank Davis? You know what I'm saying, bro? We all in trouble. Mike Tyson in trouble. I'm talking about Wilder, Fury, every motherfucker would be in trouble. Like we've never seen a little man like this damn good at what he do. Like you say, it's a science, bro. If knocking people out gave you, belts in karate, this man is obviously a black belt. Obviously a black belt. I'm talking about he's a 5th degree black belt. You know what I'm saying? A professor at this point.
Yeah.
Like you're just not gonna find nobody so undersized doing so much damage. Bro, it's no different than Deontay Wilder fighting men 40 pounds heavier than him, 50 plus pounds heavier than him, and he flatlining them. You know, like we'll never see another heavyweight that small do that kind of damage to that, you know, those large men. You know, so man, I'm just, you know, I feel like we in for a show this weekend.
Yeah,
We definitely in for a big show. And matter of fact, I think I'm really more interested in Josh Kelly and Murtazalia.
I am too.
You know, I feel like that's Dalton Smith and Subriel Matias all over again.
Oh wow.
You know, because even with Bud Crawford, the great Bud Crawford, I always argued that none of his opponents made it hard on him. Like all of them just come straight forward. All the way down to Errol Spence, you know, Canelo. These are straight come forward fighters. The closest thing we ever seen to a mover was Madrimov. And Madrimov did, you know, fairly well. You know, he definitely didn't get knocked out, number one. But like a style that really just moves around, you know, like a Haney type style, I feel like would have always gave a Crawford hell, you know. And the same thing going for Murtazalia. Like, he gonna have to come get his food. And he's not athletic whatsoever. And like we gave him all of this credit based on what he did to Tim Tszyu when Tim Tszyu came back too soon from the bloodiest fight we had seen in at least 20 years. You know, like him and that you know, that Madrimov, I mean that Fundora and Tim Tszyu fight was bloody. You know, it was just ridiculous blood. They should have stopped the fight. Easy. You feel me? But they let the whole entire fight go. Then this guy, after such a bloody war, within 3 months, he's trying to fight Bakum. And then he was doing good. He was walking up on him, hitting him like he ain't nobody. They're like, fuck you. You know, like he really was trying to smash Bakum. And then Bakum hit him right on the top of the head in the same spot that Fundora hit him. And it was over. That's all it took. So I didn't see skill. You know, it was no different than when Crawford fought Kell Brook. Like, he tried to be nice and just box with him, and Kell Brook was winning. Then he said, fuck that, I'm gonna hit you right in your damn eye. Because you know, like he was just saving it. He already knew he could have did that round one. Just hit this man in his damn eyes over. So same thing with Bakram. He knew, just hit this motherfucker right there on top of his head where he got the weak spot. It's just like Anthony Joshua after Andy Ruiz. It's like, okay, the weak spot's right there by the ear. Oh, it's, you know, Deontay Wilder after Tyson Fury. Okay, the weak spot is right there by the temple. You know, like, it's just crazy, man.
I'm just gonna say this, D Calico. The thing that gives me reassurance about Bakaram to some degree is when he was fighting Tim Tszyu, I had found out that he trains with Beterbiev, and they were showing all of these pictures of him and Beterbiev, you know, in different things. He helped Beterbiev train for certain fighters and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know, if you getting that type of Beterbiev work, bro, I think, you know, your shit might just be a matter of opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I say it like this. Yeah. I'm not the person who brought into the boogeyman thing, but the way the other fighters are moving, you make me think he's a boogeyman. And then we find out that, you know, it's this 10-pound rehydration, which then tells me, okay, so now you made me feel like 100% he's a boogeyman because he's a tough out, and you more worried about the 10-pound rehydration being the cause of this dude knocking you the fuck out than the fact of his skill set knocking you the fuck out. So
exactly, because he's fighting with the same 10-pound disadvantage.
Yeah.
You know, so they have no excuse.
Yeah, you doing it, I'm doing it. It ain't like, oh, I'm only you the only person that's gonna be under that rehydration, or both of us are.
See, the only thing would have me worried is the fact that he's one of Turkey's guys. Like, I would not want to fight Hamza Shiraz. I probably wouldn't want to fight Bakr. You know? Like, when you were one of Turkey Al-Sheikh's guys, man, the only way to beat you is to knock you out. You know? So, I mean, and I do, man, I don't care what nobody said, man. If you really notice the politics of boxing, man, white boys don't get cheated like we do. They give them motherfuckers the benefit of the doubt. You feel me? White, put it like this. It's just like, let's look at Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz was given all of these preferences, you know, based on the fact that he's a 2-time gold medal Olympian. So it makes sense. Okay, 2-time gold medal Olympian. Give him an early title shot. Yeah, fuck it. You know, he deserved it. Well, God damn it, you got this Usyk, who I just don't feel like quite deserved all of the luxuries that he's received. The guy's only got 23 fights in his career, and we steady comparing him to people that had 60, 70 fights. You know, I can't compare none of these dudes to these legends, because I don't think these dudes never gonna get 40 fights. They're never gonna get 50 fights. These guys are nothing really special. Like if we look at Deontay Wilder, around 23 fights, he was indestructible. You feel me? Like any pretty good fighter around that amount of fights, he's looking unstoppable, man. Regis Prograis. Look back when he was 23-0, he probably had 23 knockouts, 100% KO ratio. You know, like, what is we doing crowning him? I understand they gave him the right fights to become the great, you know, get all the accolades that he's gotten, all of the belts he's gotten. Yeah, I understand that. But if he was black, it would have took forever for him to get those opportunities. I'm just guaranteeing. I guarantee there's no way they would have given a black fighter, I don't care how good he is, he's not getting a chance at all of these damn belts. You know, they'll make some politics. That ain't happening. You know?
Yeah. Lomachenko got a lot of opportunities. He lost to Salido.
Look at Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia, he getting that. I'm like, when I was on it, nobody was on it. Now he getting it. They're like, well, nobody wants to. I'm like, man, come on, y'all can't pick. You can't pick and choose. He get a lot of opportunities, man. Like he did some Oscar De La Hoya type stuff.
Exactly. Undeserving.
I'm doing the best I can to think, and I only can think of black European fighters who got multiple chances. I can think one guy right now, Dillian White, multiple drug cheat. You feel what
exactly?
But he was always in an opportunity to fight for. Derek Chisora, also a multiple drug cheat, and he always had opportunity.
Bro.
Yeah.
My bad. Now I'm gonna add the greatest European boxer, my boy Lennox Lewis. Huh? Only in the UK, because if you get knocked the fuck out, you're not getting a second chance at the person who knocked you out down here. Like, they just gonna move on. That's gonna be a blemish on your record. You didn't belong in the ring with him, you know. But guys like Hakeem Rahman can knock out goddamn Lennox Lewis, and you know he get a chance to redeem himself. You feel me? And go down in history like he's one of the very fucking best. And I'm not to say he's not. He's just not. But I feel like they put him in front of people that he don't belong in front of. He had a lot of second chance opportunities. You know, like they're not gonna do these things. Like I've never seen him in a close fight where they didn't give him the victory. You know, like him and Holyfield, man, that was some neck and neck battles. You feel me? And then they just never found a reason to give the victory to Holyfield.
Now I'm gonna recant what I just said. And there's a reason why I'm gonna say what I'm saying. I used to argue with people, right? And they would tell me one of their talking points was Deontay Wilder was a bum. He's not fighting any competition. I said, okay. So leading up to the Tyson Fury fight, that would have won. That would have been his 11th straight title defense if he would have won. So he did 10. So he tied Muhammad Ali for the first time Muhammad Ali did it. Ali went 10 straight. I think it was the war, and then after he came back from the war, he did it 9 straight. So, or it might have been the loss to Joe Louis, or however it was, but Ali did 10 straight. Deontay Wilder tied him, and that's where the talking points were around his first victory. Because of that dynamic, because that's what's, when we talk about his legacy and stuff like that, that's the thing that I still think is going to get him into the Hall of Fame, because he's the first, I think, American heavyweight boxer that had 10 straight title defenses. The only other American heavyweight boxer that had that was Muhammad Ali. So you're in that vein. So he gets these opportunities because the Turk loves him. The Turk loves his energy and stuff like that. So he's gotten a lot of opportunities. You feel what I'm saying? Even after the Zhilei Zhang knockout. So look at where he's at right now. He's about to, go get this little fight off his chest, if that's actually going to go down. And then he's got he's in negotiation right now to fight Alexander Usyk. So in that vein, yeah, he's a dude I could say you get a lot of chance.
Hey, I'm guaranteed he knocked Chisora out, right? Because Chisora is the type to go out on the shield. He is a brave heart, and he even got faith in his own punch. So he's gonna come within the range of getting destroyed many, many times, and eventually it's just gonna be over. I'm pretty damn sure he going to bed fucking with Wilder. Not to say Wilder's safe, but I kind of like what I saw in the last fight, and I feel like the guy Herndon, he just did what I feel like any professional can do. Well, any professional can do. I feel like there's not a professional in boxing that if he does not want to get knocked out, he's not getting knocked out. You know what I'm saying? He's a professional. He knows how to move around. And I ain't saying he's gonna win the fight, but if a professional wants to survive, he can survive, and that's what Herndon did. And if he didn't do it, Wilder would have obliterated him. He was looking kind of good to him.
Yeah, I'm concerned, man, and I'm concerned about Wilder. I wasn't ever really big on Wilder. Like out of all of the guys that was running around, but I wasn't big on the whole heavyweight division, to be honest. So, I'm just concerned for him, man, because them guys over there, man, they might do something like hit him in the back of the head on the clinch and give him the cobwebs, and I don't know if that punch resistance is there. And in the heavyweight, that's just one of them things to where it's like that's the heavyweight division, bro. So, and I'm tired of them because I thought Usyk was I thought he was clearly cherry picking to me. I mean, because you've been tuned up, you've been revved up like a well-oiled machine, and it was a time when you could have got it, but you didn't get it then. And now it's like you're doing the whole thing. It's not as extreme as when Wilder pulled Fury up off the couch. The Fury was like overweight, depressed, on drugs, inactive for like 3 years. Like it was all of those things, and it was just like, to me at the time I was caught. I said, man, that's a cherry. That's cherry picking. Like why? Because I was giving other examples. Like if my favorite fighter pulled somebody up, I said, man, if Tank pulled somebody up off the couch for 3 years, they would, cook his ass. It didn't happen, and so Usyk is, was pulling him up, and then they saying this is a preparatory fight. But they were gonna try to get Usyk a statue, in my opinion. Like when you look at how they celebrated Fury over that, you know what I'm saying? You would have thought he was the greatest guy to ever lace up a pair of gloves. They made a statue for that dude. You know what I'm saying? That long ass count. They did that long ass count for the dude. They did so many things, and I was like, man, they trying to give Usyk a statue. But the thing is, if he get over there and Chisora, for whatever reason, hit one of them weak spots like you say, man, you know, it's not gonna look good. You know, I just hope that he ready. You know, I'm like, man, sometimes you gotta know when to hold him and when to fold him. So I wish him the best though, because I don't want to see Chisora do nothing bad to him. I think this is a must. Would you say this is a must win for him though?
Oh yeah, for all kind of purposes. Because these guys used to hate each other. You know, like it's all smiles now, but nah, them guys hate each other. So it's all kind of reasons why this is like mandatory.
So he didn't 93 Octane say, why didn't Wilder survive against Big Bang? Yeah, that was a dangerous fight. That was just a dangerous fight. Like Big Bang, I wouldn't have matched him like that. People say he got set up. I'm like, if you give somebody an opportunity, is it setting them up? You know, I don't know. But after Joseph Parker, and Big Bang is Big Bang for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He'll put you out with that left. And I think it was just a dangerous fight. You know, in my opinion. That's why, I mean, he was with Malik Scott if I'm gonna go into it. So I mean, if you want to be real. He was with Malik Scott. I was never high on Malik Scott. I never thought that it was a good idea to have somebody train you who you knocked out, because it's always going to be a level of like, I don't want to train, nigga. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I go upside your shit, nigga. I said I ain't running today, nigga. Because they said he used to do it with Mark Breland. I'm like, you get rid of the arguably the best amateur fighter we've had in America, over here in America. They put him up there. Mark Breland was the shit. But you get rid of him and bring in a motherfucker that you knocked out. And then I always heard how they talked, and it was so much love and those. I'm like, man, what are we watching, man? Why are y'all talking like that, man? Y'all, that shit was like, man, that shit was nasty, the way I used to hear them talk. I'm like, man, he don't need a philosopher. Deontay Wilder is a killer. You need to get him to be like, listen, man, I need to detonate this motherfucker like on a ride. I'm gonna be tactical. I'm gonna use my length. I'm gonna work on my timing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna run. I'm gonna hit the pads, and you turn him back into a killer. He don't need to be romanticized and philosophized. That's too much thinking for Wilder. Wilder is you know what I'm saying? It's simple orders, execute. You know, and that didn't work out. Now he going with somebody different. So he going over there. I mean, he's fighting Chisora. They fight dirty. We talk about how they like the Nick Balls and all that. If they ain't fighting dirty, they ain't fighting over there. So I'm concerned for Wilder, man. I know how people are. I see how they do AB and all that. I mean, because it's gonna be life after boxing. You're gonna want them around. So I'm concerned, man. I hope he take care of Chisora. That's it, man. That's all. Wilder had a great run, made a ton of money, man. Should retire with dignity. Otherwise, he gonna get seriously hurt. My sentiments exactly.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. And I was a huge Wilder fan. I still am a Wilder fan, but I'm just like, do you really need to do this? You know what I'm saying? For me, pretty much, the type of time I was on, and people was like, why would you ask him to do that? I was saying, because according to his own words, he never wanted to like be a champion. He just wanted to get in the boxing, make $1 million so he could do what he needed to do to take care of his daughter. You did that over. You feel what I'm saying? So let's say after you got the draw with Tyson Fury, why couldn't you retire then? Why couldn't you retire, when the AJ fight fell out, become a commentator and stuff like that? You'd have been the guy that had the great right hand. Everybody would have been talking about it. You know, that would have been your claim to fame, movies, everything else. You feel what I'm saying? Because you retired on top, and you was like, yo, I was a late bloomer. I got my gold medal from turning an amateur. I went from turning to an amateur a year and a half later, making the Olympic team and grabbing a bronze. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, listen, I got 10 title defenses. I tied Muhammad Ali. I got damn near perfect record that nobody that got in the ring with me wasn't sat the fuck down or knocked out. Bro, I'm retiring. I'm done. I can make 50 times more money and keep my faculties, you know, just doing all the things he was trying to do right now by becoming an actor, going on that TV show, making music and shit like that. Everybody would have bought it 10 times more because you never got stopped or lost. So he waited too long, and this is the problem. Now you're trying to figure out how can you go out on top. And if within your mind you really believe that I got a chance of knocking out Usyk, good luck with that one, bro. I'm a fan of yours. I really don't see it, but hey, I didn't see Devin Haney beating Brian Norman, and I saw the fight that I saw. So at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Word. Well, good throwback, good foresight, and you know, we wish Wilder, wish him well, man. How y'all want to start wrapping it up, man? I think, man, there's so much boxing, there's so many implications, there's so many fights, man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just one of these shows that it's just so much happening right now that we kind of cooked on all before. So I'm good to land the plane where we're at right now. And for me, I liked what I saw from Teo, just that strategic play to get into Shakur. You really got up under his skin. You had him out of pocket, things like that. Now it's a matter of reeling him back in, but he seems to be maybe a vindictive type of personality that may say, yeah, I'm good. But then when the bell ring, he like, yeah, now, fuck that, I'm gonna get that back. You're not gonna talk to me like that. He was like, okay, good, do that. And if it makes him do the thing that you're talking about, Body, that changes for me, it changes the entire complexity of the fight. I would be more nervous that if you chose to do that and be right there, you just haven't shown lately. And even in watching these long format training videos, maybe they chose to edit out all of that footwork drills and that type of stuff from the videos and stuff like that. That's something that the 130, the 126 pound Shakur used to do. Be a master at those, good lateral movement and movement with closing the distance and stuff like that and controlling the distance. I saw more of that. Now I see more of a kind of guy that wants to use more of a type of Philly shell and, just try to use head movement, upper body movement, and have good foot placement over having smart footwork. And sometimes good foot placement is countered by just using good footwork in the form of lateral movement and angles. If he chooses to do that, you may be leaving yourself exposed for the type of athleticism and angles that Teo can bring to the table. which may be the thing that puts you in a lot of trouble. You know, so it all depends. I'm dying to see what type of how he's gonna approach the fight. You know.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt,
but I'm good.
Like my brother over here bugging me. he need me to take him somewhere in this cold ass weather. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that for him real quick. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all having me up here.
All right, D Calico, man. Be safe out there, man. We'll talk to you next time.
For sure. Peace.
All right, salute. Peace.
Salute, bro. But just to wrap it up, bro, I'm at the point where I'm still calling it a 50-50 fight. It still looks like that. It still feels like that. But there's just these little nuances that Teo is selling me on over Shakur. So that's why at this particular point, I'm leaning more towards Teo winning the fight. I don't know how. I don't know in what manner. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just feel it's going to be something that is going to have the boxing world talking.
Yeah. It's definitely it's, you know, we here, man. Like shit, we've been talking about that shit. So yeah, man, I appreciate you coming through once again, man, and chopping it up. Always a wealth of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be listening to the playback sometime like, damn, man, that was a jewel. So I appreciate you, man. Weigh-ins tomorrow, man. So you know we'll go back and forth and touch bases, man. But I hope you enjoy your evening, bro.
Yeah, you too, bro.
All right, man. Yeah, man. We had a good little cook, man. It went a couple different ways, you know. Tomorrow's the weigh-in, man. Got our fingers crossed that these guys are going to weigh in right. You know what I'm saying? I still don't know about Snack. I mean, I'm assuming Snack is working. You know, I'm assuming that these guys are professional. You know, they got a lot on the line, man. For all the pressure that they're putting on. It might not be advertised like that, but it's a lot of pressure on both of these guys. This is a true 50-50 fight. You know, anybody trying to tell you otherwise, I would question. You might have to ask them for credentials. Then you might have to substantiate those credentials. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good fight. All the politics, all of this, like people trying to get themselves upset about why and who said what, they gotta fight. You know what I'm saying? If it's really all that shit, this could be the beginning of a trilogy. You talk about Canelo and Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Trilogy. You know, it could go that way. We've seen it. So it could be one of them fights, the animosity and all that, man. But like Bernard Hopkins said, that ring is the lie detector. The only other thing I had was we always talk about these little nuances in boxing where sometimes people like a boxer, let's just say a Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly is saying that he's going in there to knock out Baccarat. Like when they say that, because now I don't know. I mean, you also having people saying they're going to stop this and that. Like Keyshawn saying he's going to knock out the technician. Jermaine Ortiz saying that I can't let this go to the judges. Typically, when you hear a boxer going in there saying I'm about to knock somebody out, you know, do it happen? But I think trying to go, that's what happened with Tim Tszyu. Got caught reaching in that cookie jar too many times the same way. And bomb. So I don't know, man. It's a lot of speculation. Now, tomorrow is the weigh-in. That's going to tell us everything. We're going to get to see if these guys look like Skeletor. We're going to get to see if they angry, hangry. You know, it's going to tell us a lot. You know, and I don't know if it's going to be ceremonial. It's typically, by the time we see them, they be them rehydrated and all that, and they calling out the weight that they had earlier on. But that's the next step in this thing. I'm looking forward to it. Don't let nobody get you off the path into no racial stuff, into no extra stuff. At this point, they just got to make weight and fight. Silence is consent, which is the name of the channel. I mean, the mantra of the channel, which means that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we speak to those things that need to be spoken to in boxing. Fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. That fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours. We try to use what people say, what's done, the history, timeline. We follow the bouncing ball all along, and we just report as it comes. We don't make knee-jerk reactions. We try to be responsible with the conversation. And for the most part, we always keep it boxing. We start inside the ring. We branch out a little bit if we need to, but we try to keep it all in boxing. You know what I'm saying? And we respect each other. You don't have to agree over here. Nobody gonna put you on mute. You know, if it get all hot and spicy, then we might have to have a debate like AC and Miller's did with that Muhammad Ali debate. Don't forget to check that out. But another good show. If I don't see y'all tomorrow, just know that I'm watching. And when I have something worthy to be able to come out and talk about, I'll be back. But everybody enjoy the fights. You know what I'm saying? Have fun. May the boxing guys be with us, man. And all these fights come to fruition. And it's going to be a lot of stoppages and knockouts this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch, but you was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.